How's it going? Dave from Comic Book Investments. So in this video, we're going to look at 5 keys that are heating up. But before I do, if you want to win this book in a giveaway for free, you don't have to do anything. Just head over to collectorscomics.com, enter in the giveaway. It's on our site. If not, it's down below. And we also have an auction going on right now, already started. And we have a lot of signature books. We have about over 120 signature books. Yeah, gold label, yellow label, whatever you want to call it. Signature books, so check it out. Tons of good stuff in there. This is by far our biggest auction. I think we have almost 1,700 items in this auction, so by far our biggest. Go check it out, collectorscomics.com. Let's get into it. First, we got Flashpoint number 1. A 9.2 is up 32% from 75 to 99. A 9.4 is up 12% from 85 to 95, and a 9.6 is up 42% from 138 to 196. So the 9.8 was kind of just like, it's been up recently, but it's kind of like teetering in the last couple months. Overall, I mean, if you kind of look at this book, if you go back, 2020, it's kind of around the same price. It's not like, I don't think this is really breaking a record or anything like that. I mean, they're going to use a Flashpoint in the movie, obviously. The Flashpoint animated movie I loved a lot. I just, like you guys know how I feel about modern books. In the end, I don't think this book is going to be worth like 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. I don't think it's going to be worth like a ton. Like maybe it'll be up slightly, but overall, I just, it's a modern book, and it was a Flash. It's not like a modern book where they had a very limited print run. There's nothing like if someone came to me and asked me, "Is like, hey, should I buy this as an investment?" I'd be like, no, no. Like, I don't think it's really going to go down, but I don't think it's really going to go up. So if you like the book, buy it. I personally like the book, but I wouldn't buy it as an investment. All right, next we got Daredevil 183. A 9.4 is up 24% from 70 to 87. 9.6 up 32% from 100 to 132. And a 9.8 is up 36% from 224 to 305. And if you can see that graph up there, you can see it's obviously started going up, and it's been teetering almost at its highs. So if you look at it, obviously you can see where it started getting that comic boom, just went up, right? Way above what it was previously years and years ago. But it's been kind of teetering around that, slightly down from its all-time highs, but not by much. So yeah, it's kind of like going like this, but overall just kind of teetering right where it's, near its all-time highs. So a lot of people ask me, it's like, oh, this book's going this, that. It's not every book. That's not how it works. The ones that went up are the ones that like either went up too much, and because a lot of new investors and collectors got into, the market, and they didn't know what to buy, and so they started buying stuff, supply and demand. Everything just starts going skyrocketing way too high. But then there's a lot of books that, have held pretty strong. So, all right. Amazing Spider-Man 601. This is J. Scott Campbell's cover. A 9.2 up 9% from 123 to 134. A 9.4 is up 57% from 143 to 224. And a 9.6 is up 63% from 212 to 345. The 9.8 was kind of like the first one, just kind of teetering around. It was up overall, but just teetering around. So, this book's up too. And the funny thing was, when I was doing my research, I didn't even know about this. I don't know when this happened. For some reason, I want to say like a couple years ago, but I could be wrong. Someone decided to redraw this cover and said that, and then J. Scott Campbell, then it was on Twitter or something, I don't know, Instagram, whatever. Then J. Scott Campbell gave that amateur artist who redrew the cover like some notes, and it's like, oh, fix this, this is not good, blah, blah. And maybe the notes were malicious. I don't really know. Then everyone got mad at J. Scott Campbell because they're like, this guy's just trying to fix your sexist cover, or I don't know, something like that. I didn't dive too much into it, but the whole time I'm like thinking to myself, I'm like, I remember when I took a class in college like a bazillion years ago, and we had a class where they were talking about Um, I don't even remember what it was, but it's something about how the Barbie doll gives an unrealistic, I don't know, something image for young girls. And I remember like talking in the class, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, look at the guys. Have you ever picked up an action figure? Their biceps are bigger than their head. No human is like that, right? And like people complain about comic books, oh, unrealistic image of women, right? It's just comic book artist. Who cares, right? There's also a lot of realistic ones. You're gonna like attack someone's art because that's the way they decided to draw women. Have you looked at Jim Lee's Batman? He's not a superhero with superpowers. He's just a man. His biceps are as big as his quads, and his quads are his legs. That is impossible. That doesn't happen. That is super unrealistic. There's no way a man can achieve what Batman looks like, who's just a normal man. I didn't want to pick Superman because people say he has superpowers. And no human can look like that. No man can look like that. So it's on both sides. So call a spade a spade. Stop complaining about how people want to draw women. They want to draw them like that. Who cares? Let them draw it that way. Just like no one complains about the men's side. I don't know. I'm about to rant. But anyways, so someone was complaining about that and they gave John, I like his art. So he can keep it that way. If you want to draw something different, by all means, start in the comic books. Draw however you want to draw. Whatever. I don't know why people complain. So what if they over-sexualize a character? Look at the guys. Look at literally every single MCU movie. Every single guy is shirtless at some point. None of the girls are in a bikini. No, they're usually always covered up. But every single guy, Robert Downey Jr., shirtless at one point. Like, Paul Rudd, shirtless at one point. Like, it doesn't matter. If you're in the MCU and you're a guy, you're going to be shirtless at some point. So you got to start working out. I don't know if they probably do a little bit of CGI enhancing on those abs, but they're all going to be shirtless at some point. So I'm looking at Chris Hemsworth. He's pretty much halfly naked almost all the time. He was naked in, was it Thor 4 completely. So it's like, come on. Jesus. People. All right, next we got Batman Adventures 12. First appearance of Harley Quinn. A 9.4 is up 1%. Woo! From 9.19 to 9.29. A 9.6 is up 41% from about 1,000 to 14.40. And a 9.8 is up 10% from 27.55 to a little over 3,000. And as you can clearly see, it just went up straight up. But it's not that bad. Like, it's down, obviously, from its all-time high. I looked up its all-time high. It was, I think, one sold for 4,500. But that was like a one-off. Like, the average for that month, though, was, I think, around 3,800 or 4,000, somewhere around there. So, yes, it's down, obviously. Everything's down. I'm not going to say everything. A lot of things are down. But I mean, it's still holding at 3,000. And that was just like kind of like a couple months where it sold that. Right after that, it was just like started going back down to earth. So it was most of the time when you see these all-time highs, it's like for a 1 or 2 month period, it was just like ridiculous. And then it was like, oh, okay, let's slowly come back down. But it looks like it's probably right around, I'm trying to look at this little graph here, probably around the end of 2021. This is where it's averaging now. And it's nice to see that other books, if you watch the show, you know it's just like straight down. This one's kind of going down and slowly going up. That's what happens when a character is really popular. It has enough staying power for people will continue to buy it. It's like, I'll put it this way. Someone will watch a movie, read the comic book, whatever it is, and they'll fall in love with this character, and they're like, oh, that's my holy grail. That's what I want. And they'll see the price come down, and then they'll get to a point where like, I'm willing to buy it at that price. So they jump in. That takes that book off the market. And there's enough people to do that where, it just hits this floor and it, starts bouncing off. So I think this is a great book. I've put it on whatever list I put it on, this top 10 90s comic book. I don't remember which one. It's probably in like number 3 or something. But I think it's a great book long term. Even if you're that person that bought it for $4,500, I don't know when it was, like 2 years ago, I think you'll make your money back eventually. All right. Last is Amazing Spider-Man 41. First appearance of Rhino. 6.0 is up 35% from 478 to 645. 6.5 is up 45% from 552 to 800. And the 8.0 is up 27% from 1,100 to about 1,400. So yeah, there's like some announcement that the Rhino is going to be in the Kraven movie. So that's kind of made this book go up overall. Yeah, I mean, personally, I think Silver Age Spider-Man are one of the best you can get. So I am not really worried about this book. It's been kind of all over the place, obviously, with the comic boom hype, stuff like that, but I think you'd be fine. If someone bought, I don't even know if this is, it looks like someone paid for an 8.0 $2,600 for an 8.0. I mean, when the previous sale to that one was around, looks like 1,800. So why on earth, I don't know why someone would, the previous high was 1,800, just a low month ago. And then someone decides to buy it for 2,600. I don't know why you would jump up that much for an 8.0. This is not like, oh, single highest grade, second highest grade. I'm never going to find one against an 8.0. So I don't know. Like that was back to my old point. It's like there's a lot of new collectors and wannabe dealers and all sorts of people, new people coming in the industry, and they don't know what things are worth. My brother included. I have an older brother that invested in comic books. I mean, he invested at a good time, but he just paid whatever price. He would tell me, he's like, oh, I went on eBay and I bought it at this price. Why'd you pay that? He's like, oh, I got a good deal. And what do you mean? I was like, I talked him down. He took off like 5% or 10% or whatever number it was. And I'm like, yeah, but he marks it up by like 50%. That's what like a lot of dealers do. They'll be like, oh, this book normally sells for $800. I want $1,600. It's like, or $2,000. Like they'll just make up a number and there's like some ridiculous price. You can go on eBay. A lot of people will comment below. It's like, where are these prices that I put on this graph? I'm like, these are actually sales. Just because someone lists something for an extraordinary high price doesn't mean that's what the actual price is. The actual price is what's on here. These are actual prices because this is what they actually sell for. So a lot of people complain. It's like, oh, I can't find these prices. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. You just search real quick on eBay and you find one dealer and he has a super high price. It's like, well, yeah, you're not going to find any good prices. But you're just going to have to look because people aren't buying at those prices. You can list them all day you want at those prices, but no one's going to pay those prices. It's like if you ever go to a Comic-Con, it's ridiculous. I remember going to Comic-Con and looking at this Hulk 181, and I'm like, okay, whatever, 6.5 or something. All right, went on eBay. I'm like, well, here's 10 that are cheaper than your 6.5 hanging on your wall. Like dealers will like go to shows and just mark it up like ridiculous prices. Just like because they want to make their money back for spending time to go there. And it's just like, yeah, but that worked back in the day. But now we have the internet and we can literally just look at a price and go, oh, here's one on eBay, buy. Oh, I'll get it in like 2 days. Or you could pay some outrageous price on the person's wall to get it that day. So, and a lot of times dealers are always willing to negotiate down, but sometimes people aren't. So that was it. Have a good weekend.